Hey folks, this is BestInSlot with a brand new surprise feature focus for Jurassic World Evolution 2. Today's focused on calamities. That's the new name for extreme weather conditions in Evolution 2. In the last game we just had the tornadoes. This time there are four different ones that are going to there are four different ones that are going to ravage your park. We've got a couple of really cool new screenshots to take a look at and a buttload of text going through each of these different calamities. We're just going to read it, talk about it as we go. You know the drill by now. Let's get started. Welcome back, park managers. We are back with a new Jurassic World Evolution 2 feature focus. Previously, we talked about the different environments you'll be discovering and exploring while building your parks and facilities. This week, we're staying in the game's environments to discuss one of the challenges you'll be facing, weather calamities. Jurassic World Evolution 2 lets you build parks and facilities across a wide range of environments, all of which have their unique weather calamities, for you to contend with. These calamities will introduce an additional layer of challenge by impeding your progress in different ways, from sabotaging your power output to slowing down your vehicles or upsetting your dinosaurs. You'll be faced with weather calamities across all modes, but you can turn them off in sandbox mode if you so choose. Shall we take a closer look at what types of weather calamities you'll be dealing with in Jurassic World Evolution 2? No. So that's the end of the video. Thank you for joining. One thing I want to say right now, it says upsetting your dinosaurs. I am conscious that maybe tornadoes are still going to be a little bit wishy-washy, but we shall see as we dig in. So first up is Sandstorms. You may have seen footage of this fairly recently in Chaos Theory mode. Managing a park in the desert, you'll need to keep an eye out for sandstorms. Literally, this calamity will obscure visibility throughout your park, so ranger scans of dinosaurs and reptiles will be cleared, requiring them to rescan, and guest visibility cones will be reduced, limiting what they're able to view. The poor visibility won't be the only issue you'll have to contend with though. The high wind speeds will wreak havoc across your park. They love that term, I love that term. You'll notice equipment failures. Land vehicles will be subject to engine failure, and power stations will periodically lose power, as well as damage to buildings which will require repairing from a ranger team. You're going to want to keep an eye on your dinosaurs during a sandstorm, as those brutal conditions also mean that diseases have a much higher chance of spreading. Try not to fret too much though. There are some things you can do to prepare for this particular calamity. Placing shelters around your park will ensure guests are able to flee the oncoming storm, and utilising backup generators should help to diminish too many nasty side effects from a lack of power. You can also utilise storm damage upgrades to help protect some of your buildings. So this is actually really interesting. Instead of just, the tornado came through in the past, it would hit your buildings, it would ruin your buildings. You could have like a thunderstorm as well, and that would kind of take out your power every now and again. But I do like that these calamities have some thought put into them. What does a sandstorm very classically do? It reduces visibility. So your scans, it doesn't totally make sense that your scans would be undone, but it's a cool little detail. Guest visibility cones being reduced is very thematically appropriate. It's nice that they should hopefully offer different challenges. Not every challenge, every calamity should just be, oh no, broken fences and angry dinosaurs. You should have to tackle different things, and it sounds like you maybe will. It does mention the backup generators. I mentioned this in my gameplay, that this seems to be the purpose of the backup generator, really. I do question why they are the first generator you get access to in this case. It feels like it should be after the small power station. I think that might need swapping around from my perspective, but we'll have to see how that stacks up in the main game. But very interesting so far, and also diseases, much higher chance of spreading. Again, that's going to be a real pain in the ass, by the way, but very much looking forward to that. Snowstorms, a feature you can expect from Tiger and Alpine based parks. Snowstorms do have some similarities to Sandstorms in terms of impacting visibility. They'll also clear ranger scans and reduce guest visibility, but have the additional caveat of stopping your dinosaurs from appearing on the map UI. Interesting! You'll still be able to see them in their enclosures, but not their location in the wider park. This is particularly concerning due to the fact your dinosaurs are more likely to be injured by conditions like frostbite during a snowstorm, and ground vehicles are slowed down. It might take your mobile veterinary units slightly longer to help them. Definitely something to consider when a snowstorm is on the approach. Similarly to sandstorms though, you will be able to put some contingencies in place to protect your park and guests from this particular calamity. Shelters, once again, keep an eye on things, basically. So again, some really interesting changes. I was questioning already in my mind, how are they going to differentiate a snowstorm to a sandstorm? And okay, some of that negative visibility, but it seems to have been taken to an even higher level where the snowstorm seems to like blot out your godly vision, essentially. And you can't see the dinosaurs on the UI. So that's actually really interesting, because if you have a dinosaur break out, it's not going to be a big deal on smaller parks, but you've got a massive park. You know somebody's broken out on the far side, they've lost power, the raptors have climbed over the fence, Rex is breaking out on the other side, and you've got forest everywhere. It might actually be quite difficult to know what's going on. It should really inspire that sort of chaos that a snowstorm should. I really like that. Also interesting that we have a specific condition of frostbite as well. That's really interesting. What it sounds like with the frostbite is that it'll be like, you know, when they break their leg and stuff like that from bashing against fences, and it'll just be like an injury inflicted upon them that you'll then have to go and cure afterwards. It's not going to be like the disease where it spreads, but it'll be just like an impact injury almost. And of course, we get a brand new screenshot showing us a winter wonderland, basically. It looks really nice with the snow absolutely everywhere. We've never really seen snowy parks before. We saw that in Washington in the very first mission we played, but we've never seen a proper park with the lights on, with dark skies, with all the different buildings lit up. It looks very Christmassy, actually. It's very nice. And I particularly like the aviary. Here we've got a three-pronged aviary over here, and it looks like it's not necessarily covered in snow, but the glass is kind of frosted up, which is what you'd expect. Tornadoes. You'll be familiar with tornadoes from the first game, and if you're playing a temperate map, there's something you'll want to keep an eye out for. This calamity is a damaging twister which will sweep around your park, leaving destruction in its wake. Buildings and vehicles too close to the centre of the tornado will likely endure some considerable damage, as will any fences or pylons which come into contact with it. They'll all need repairing, so your rangers are going to be very busy in the aftermath. Your dinosaurs won't enjoy either fleeing and becoming agitated, so you'll need to keep an eye out for both injuries and escapes. And again, it's really just upgrade for storm damage and have shelters on basically all of the advice. I don't want to say I'm too disappointed. There's clearly a reason they're against this idea. Let's just swap over to the screenshot because this is new as well. Of course, we're seeing our return to the Jurassic Park style visitor centre down there. We've got a few more. We've got the hotel. Actually, I think that might be the first. Whoopsie daisy. That might be the first time we've seen it, but you'll recognise that from Return to Jurassic Park. That's the Jurassic Park era hotel, and we're seeing the shop there as well with that sort of Jurassic Park facade on the front. Now, I will say, the twister here looks cooler. It looks bigger, it looks a bit more wild, a little bit less controlled, it looks really impactful and damaging. But the fact it doesn't kill guests and dinosaurs will continue to be a source of disappointment to me. It just makes them feel weak. You know, a building is not a big deal, just fix your building, you're fine. Every now and again it might knock out the power and you'll be in a little bit of a pickle, but generally speaking, they didn't feel that impactful in the first game because they didn't hurt you. You know, a guest can walk down as this massive twister rolls over them and nothing happens. I don't know what the reason is that they don't let it kill guests and dinosaurs. I can't quite... I'm sure there is a reason because they've done it 2 games in a row. I'm sure they have their reasons. Personally, even if it was just a sandbox option you could toggle on, I would prefer to have it in the game. I don't quite get why it isn't in the game. Feel free to offer suggestions in the comment section down below. Do people think it would just be annoying, perhaps? You know, if Twister rolls along and murders 1,000 guests and suddenly you're bankrupt, it's kind of your fault, right? If you have early detection and you've got a guest shelter, then it's up to you to protect them. Same with your dinosaurs. I suppose that's maybe the problem. How would you protect your dinosaurs? But still, I would have liked, you know, it's just personal preference, but I would have preferred them to be more damaging than they are. Let's move on. Finally then, Hurricane. So this is one of the other new ones, a feature of the tropical levels. So the twisters have moved from tropical to temperate and hurricanes are now in tropical. Hurricanes cause periodic damage to buildings, fences and pylons, and are also likely to cause damage to vehicles, so the rangers you deploy to repair the damage are in for a treat. Luckily, your dinosaurs won't be impacted too much, so as long as you've got a shelter in place and a ranger team on hand, you should be able to manage when a tropical storm hits. I've got to say, snowstorms sound to be the most impactful by a decent margin, I would suggest. They really do sound like they're going to cause more damage or more chaos in your park than most of the others. Tornadoes I can definitely still see wreaking a little havoc. It'll be interesting to see how they space these out across the campaign as well, assumingly the campaign will... Actually, the campaign isn't going to have any twisters. There's no tropical in the campaign that we know of. Yeah, there you go. Not any. Well, I mean, we did get some new information. I don't know what I'm on about. We've learned what these calamities do for the very first time. Snowstorms, sandstorms, hurricanes in particular. We now know how they'll impact our parks. Really excited about snowstorms. I can see myself building on this on these two snowy maps a lot more than the others actually, and I was thinking it would go the other direction, more towards a temperate perhaps, but I think it's going to be really cool. That's it from me anyway. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Which of these calamities are you most excited to see come to life? My vote is for snowstorms, but let me know what... I mean, I suppose the only one we haven't seen is the hurricane, and I am curious how they'll make it feel different than, you know, the tropical storms we got in the last game. A hurricane should feel like the craziest storm you've ever been in, so how are they going to reflect that in-game? We'll have to wait and see. But let me know which one you're most excited for. I'm really curious where people stand on the Twister thing as well. Should it be able to kill guests and dinosaurs? Maybe only your smaller dinosaurs? I don't know. Let me know in the comment section down below. And I'll see you lovely folks next time. Thanks for joining me. Cheers, much love as always. Bye-bye.
Reaching out.